Okay. So here's what's happening right now. The Ford Motor Company has created this suit that can simulate fatigue that you're going to feel when you're driving fatigued, and I guess how it's going to change your reactions, your reflexes. We're about to go on air, and I'm going to get more into this in a couple of moments. But here's the other thing. Police have tried to do this to me with a sober suit before. So they put on the suit that simulates what it's like to be drunk, and then they put me through all of this testing, all of the tests that they would do on somebody for drinking and driving. And I passed every single test really, really well. So as somebody who's already, you would think I'm fatigued because I sleep a solid 3 hours a night. We'll see how I do. And our human fatigue specialist over here, Clinton Marquardt, is saying this is what you hear from people in media all the time.
Yes,
they don't sleep.
Don't sleep very much at all.
Is it because our brains are like?
Well, I think you're very active people to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be on air.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that there are ways you can bring your activity levels up that might impair your ability to sleep too. So we tracked it a little bit.
Okay, well, we'll get into this. We're
testing.
about to go on air. They're also going to put the suit on me. Melissa's helping out today too. You can come around, Melissa. Okay. Start suiting me up, and we're gonna start the show in a second. This is real life. This is real life. That is
ankle
cumbersome, little buddy. Oh. Adds to the shoes. You would think the shoes are that heavy. As
I'm going to put an arm weight on the opposite.
Opposite arm.
Opposite
All right.
arm.
Hello. I'm Dahlia, and I might be a little slow verbally to react right now because I'm getting suited up. You could see this on Facebook Live. Is this made for people who are half the size of an average person? I need to ask this question. I need to make sure. I'm getting suited up right now with Ford Motor Company's sleep suit, and I feel like this really is, it's making my pants fall down. I feel like this is really made for somebody who is bigger than I am. But this is because, look, tonight the clocks are going to spring forward.
So this is going to make your head fall down.
This is going to make my head fall down. Okay, so Clinton Marquardt is here with us too. He's a human fatigue specialist. He's about to put something on my head.
Are you ready?
My
for
hair's
this?
not making me fall down.
For
I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
ready. Okay, let's do this. This is like really special right now. All
This is
right.
going to mimic the neck muscle relaxation that happens when
Okay,
you're
let's
fatigued.
get Clinton behind a microphone too, so we could hear what he's saying.
So we just put this cap on you that adds a few pounds of weight.
Yes.
And the weight will force your head to kind of wobble around a little bit.
It's making my chin want to go down, but I'm trying to stay in line with the
Yeah, so
microphone
it's-
as we do this right now.
So it's mimicking the neck muscle relaxation that happens when you become fatigued. And you know if you're falling, maybe not you, but when regular people start to fall asleep if they're sitting in a chair.
Did you just say I'm not a regular person?
Well, you only sleep 3 hours, so that's a little different. So it'll make people have the head nods that they experience
Yeah,
as they're falling
I think that my neck muscles are coming into play right now, definitely. So let's put this into more context. So clocks are springing forward tonight, 1 hour, and there are a lot of concerns when it comes to driving fatigue, because often we talk about distracted driving, we talk about drinking and driving, but we don't talk about fatigue and driving. And you're a human fatigue specialist. I've never even heard of somebody called a human fatigue specialist before.
Yeah, there's only a few of us in Canada, and we specialize in usually working with companies that work 24/7.
It's a weird feeling.
It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We work with companies that function with shift workers and try and keep them a little safer, happier, and healthier.
So you're quite necessary at 580 CFRA, I'm sure, and you've said that media needs you a lot. Now before we get into those sorts of things, you could see this online right now. I will say, so what do I feel with this weight? Is this all I need? Do I need anything
We've got
else?
a few more pieces.
There's
Are you
more
ready
to
for
this?
it?
You guys,
Are
I'm
you ready
only so
for it?
big.
Okay.
So far we have weight around my wrist, which is significantly heavy, actually. I feel like I don't have to go to the gym today because I'm getting a good workout right now.
Yeah.
I've got the thing on top of my head that's weighing my head down. I have...
Yeah, have a look at this weight here. Okay, so this is the Ford sleep suit, and we've got weight on one ankle.
There's weight on one ankle. I'm just... we've got weight on
one ankle,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've got weight on the opposite wrist here. You can see the Ford weight on this wrist. to put you off balance a little bit.
That's my natural
Right.
state.
Off balance?
I think so.
Okay, now, are you ready for the next piece?
The next piece, let's try it. How are you going to fit that over the hair? And they're trying to put these glasses, these goggles on me, over my hair and this piece that's on my head. All right. This is, and if you think you've had hat hair, you don't know what hat hair is until you have, what's the weight on my head? How much does this weigh?
About 4 or 5 pounds.
A 4 or 5 pound weight on my head. This is going to be hat hair extraordinaire. Okay.
Now what I need you to do is put a hand on the table just to stabilize yourself. And
Are the lights going on and off in my head, or are they going on and off? That is a very strange feeling. So that would, I guess this is simulating sort of blinking in and out.
What we call that is a micro sleep. So what's going on in your brain, if you were fatigued right now, is your brain would be falling asleep for a couple of seconds at a time. Each time it falls asleep, you are essentially in tune with the world. So this is the really dangerous part. And as I said, it's called a micro sleep.
I think we just determined why I never sleep, because I always want to be in tune with the world. So let's reframe how I'm feeling right now, because I'm going through this micro sleep thing here that Clinton Marquardt, a human fatigue specialist, is putting me through with this Ford sleep suit. You can see it on Facebook Live. So here's what's happening. I've got a weight around my ankle. I've got a weight around my opposite arm. I've got a weight on my head. And then what really starts to play with you is I'm wearing these glasses, these goggles that just seem to be blocking out light every few seconds. So I just lose sight. Like right now, I cannot see. And now I'm seeing. And now I don't see anything. And now I'm seeing. It's going off randomly. I never know when I'm going to see or when I won't see. It's kind of disoriented, and I'm starting to get a little bit sweaty. But aside from that, okay, I obviously couldn't drive in this state. So you guys beat the police when they tried to put that drunk suit on me, and I was able to get through that. But that's mostly because I'm just I've never fallen asleep while driving. I've never felt the effects of falling asleep while driving. But people will drive in this state like this?
They'll try, yeah. Now the really scary part is the suit is mimicking a fairly high level of fatigue. But your performance starts to drop well before you get to the state that the Ford sleep suit is mimicking. First thing you start to experience, without you even knowing it, is a slowed reaction time. So imagine as you're driving down a highway at 100, 110 kilometers an hour, somebody cuts in front of you, and if your reaction time is slowed by even as little as a second, that could mean death.
Well, my life was probably saved in like a second, just like that, a split second, because a woman was driving in an SUV. She went through a red light, hit me as I'm in my compact car going through a green light. Driver's side. She hits me on the driver's side, but it was probably a split second that saved me from anything being worse. So when you're saying things can change within a split second when you're feeling fatigued, I'm living proof of that, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that's a fairly common situation. Maybe it's not your fatigue that is playing a role, but somebody else's fatigue.
So when you are out on the streets, especially now because it's daylight saving time, we're springing forward ahead tonight, do you see a significant increase that week after the clocks spring forward in driving accidents?
You almost always see a spike in roadway accidents. It won't happen right away Sunday morning, but after people experience the loss of a full hour of sleep, it happens Sunday night turning into Monday. That's where the spike always happens, and it's a measurable spike, yeah.
So right now, as people are trying to adjust to their new sleep schedule, what's your suggestion to them to help with that?
I know it's a hard one, but the best thing to do would be try and go to bed a little bit earlier tonight to make up for that. Yeah, it's not So if you can't do that, then sleep in a little bit Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can't do that, then try not to do any long distance driving. Maybe have an extra cup of caffeine or a cup of coffee during the day on Sunday if you do have to drive. And then try and get to bed a little bit earlier on Sunday night, or at least get back to falling asleep at the right clock time. Yeah.
I know we're talking about driving right now when it comes to how fatigue can affect you, and I know you can't see it on Facebook Live, but I am sweating under all of this weight and whatever this thing is on my head, and I know you can't wait to see how my hair looks after. But what would you say to people when it comes to fatigue from daylight saving time and how that affects, because in a way it's really great because the sun, knowing spring is here, that rejuvenates you, but at the same time the effect that fatigue can have on your emotions and coping skills.
So fatigue has a huge role on all of your cognitive abilities, and two of them, as you just said, are emotions and coping skills. If you get too fatigued, you'll be much more what we call emotional labile. So your emotional outbursts will be stronger, less controllable, and of course harder to cope with stress as well. So it takes its toll on not just driving, but the rest of your life too.
So you're saying 3 hours of sleep a night is not good?
I've said you're sort of outside of that normal range, which is between 6 and 9 hours, 7 and 9 hours of sleep every 24 hours of life.
And I do understand it is serious. Sleep is a very important part. It really helps regulate your emotions. It helps with learning. It helps with reasoning. It helps with so many different types of things. But there are people who have been known to get, they say, hey, I've lived with this amount of sleep. Have you found that actually, and I do know that I need more sleep, I just can't help it, but have you found that there are people who really do function very well on less sleep than others?
No.
So
Point blank, no.
Impossible.
No, if we were to do some sophisticated performance testing on you, I could almost guarantee that in spite of you feeling that you're functioning perfectly fine, we'd find some small impairments to where you're not probably doing quite as well as you think.
So for instance, if I go for a run for an hour, I could run for an hour. However, if I had better sleep in my life, better quality sleep, because not just sleep, but the quality of it, you think I would be faster, better at that 1 hour run?
I think you probably would be. Yeah. Now, we have talked a little bit about caffeine, sort of off the air, and without going into...
Careful what you say about my friends.
Yeah, specific situations about your friends, caffeine has a long half-life. So it stays in your system for a much longer than you think it does, and that could be contributing to your friends' poor sleep.
I only drink like 3 mugs a day. So the mugs each can hold up to 750 milliliters or a liter of coffee at a time. No, but I understand. It is very important. And when it comes to cancer, when it comes to diseases, when it comes to all these sorts of things, sleep can be one of your best medicines. So if people want to learn more about fatigue, and especially when it comes to daylight saving time, what do they need to know, sir?
What they need to know is not to shortchange yourself with sleep. Try and reprioritize it so that it plays a really important role in your life, and it'll pay you back in great dividends. Longer, happier, healthier life.
I will feel longer and happier if you take this thing off of my head, because I feel like I have now shrunk a solid couple of inches, and I need every possible inch that I can get, even the inches that my hair gives me in height. Clinton Marquardt, he is a human fatigue specialist. I am wearing the Ford sleep suit. It's on Facebook Live, and it will forever be there. You'll see what I look like at 4'11", because I swear this has taken at least an inch off of me. Thank you for taking your time to join us today,
Thanks for
sir.
helping to spread the message. Thank
and
you.
how many hours of sleep a night do you sleep?
I get a good 8 hours every single night.
Braggart. Braggart, I'm Dahlia. This is the goods. Still ahead. We're going to try to get this off me. We'll see how tall or how much shorter I am afterwards. And a comedian who's gotten mistaken for a more famous comedian. That's probably helped his career. That's coming up next. And I was able to host a show, by the way, while wearing a fatigue Ford sleep suit. There we go. I need this off.